I have news.
News?
News. Good news.
Ooh.
That's something that we could use.
Yeah.
So I have been published in the New Yorker, and I got paid $4,000. No, that's not quite the good news.
No.
What is it? Oh, my gay werewolf story has been published now.
Yes.
Hellbound Books has published, or at least I got an email today that it's gone live. They didn't make a post yet, but as of the recording of this episode, they haven't. But when this episode drops on Tuesday,
They
should be out with it. But Splatterpunk Volume 2 with my story One Night Stand has been published. I bought 3 copies at the author price, one for you and one for Mike and one for myself. Because they did not give a contributor copy, which is disappointing. I'm supposed to get paid some amount, but I haven't got a notification of that either. But they did change the cover from the concept art, and I like it a lot more.
Oh, cool.
The concept art was some kind of just like guts.
Okay.
It was like generic guts, like a close-up, though, so it was just like a big intestine. I was like, yeah, that's not that cool. Because their first issue had a gross lady on it. It was the first volume. I will show you. I will not show anyone else on the internet.
They will have to wait to buy it to see it.
They'll have to buy it.
Because it's not like they could just go online and look, but they have to buy it first.
But it's green and it has a bunch of severed heads.
Oh, yeah, that is kind of cool.
So they went with the opposite color scheme of the first volume, which is nice because it separates it.
Yeah.
Whereas the concept art one was more the same. It was like just pink and red. So that comes out now, I guess. I'm assuming they'll have post about it. I don't remember if this is one of those things you could buy. I think you could buy these on Amazon. I never really looked it up.
I was just gonna ask, do you think did you know if it's available on Amazon or if you have to go to the actual website to?
I mean, that's where the link for the contributor copies was the actual website, but I don't know. I know they sell it through the website, obviously, but it might be cheaper or just easier, more efficient on Amazon.
Well, it's also nice, too, whenever your work is available on Amazon. It's just people know that.
I'm pretty sure I looked up the first volume and it was on Amazon.
Okay.
So I think you can get it on there. Actually, how about I just look?
Yeah.
Why don't I just I got the technology.
No, you don't.
In my hand, amongst other things in my hand.
Yeah, because you'd be able to hold a lot of other things in your hand when you're holding the other thing in your hand.
I would like you to shut the fudge up. Splatterpunk. That should be good enough. It's on there as the Kindle right now.
Okay.
But yeah, the other paperback for the volume 1 is $18.99 on Amazon. So you can get this book on Amazon. Oh, they got the paperback.
All right.
It is $16.99.
Oh, there you go.
How many pages is this bad boy? Am I on the back? I am on the back.
Yeah.
Nice. Does it say gay? Let's see if it says gay werewolf. Welcome once again, fellow gore lovers, to Hellbound Books' second foray into the deliciously bloody, innards-strewn world of Splatterpunk. Death, dismemberment, and destruction abound within these pages as we bring to you 19 perfectly ghoulish tales of terror that are definitely not to be read while eating. I know this is a lot because I got the I did get a digital version. Remember when I was doing the edits?
Oh, yeah.
I did get a digital version if I wanted to read, but that wasn't an edited version.
Yeah.
That was the pre. That was like the edits. That wasn't after being edited. 308 pages, so you're getting a good chunk of
Well,
book.
say 19 stories. That's a good amount of stories.
Yeah, so that's pretty nice. So you guys could look that up. Now I'm wondering if I got ripped off on this fucking author price. Let me look that up. No, mine was significantly cheaper. I was about to say, if it's $16.99, it's not very expensive. Did I just fucking get ripped off by buying something that's going to take longer to deliver than if I just got it on Amazon Prime? No, I got it cheaper. And that price I got also included the shipping and shit. So.
No, that's good.
So keep an eye out for that. Do I have any other news? I don't think so. I haven't heard back about Starlight Pulp when that's coming out. I should probably hear about that this week. About like the final selections and everything. I mean, I got selected, but like, hey, we're done. We have this many stories, or here's an edit. I don't know what edits they do. I don't know what they do. I have not worked with them before, so we'll see. But that'll be coming in the coming weeks, I think. That is it for the news. And I have an episode you're not going to like.
Oh, good.
I mean, I don't know if you'll like it. I don't think anybody will like it. Last week we did an episode on the best prose, and it turned out it was just like kind of gobbledygook.
Yeah.
It was stuff I didn't really think was all that beautiful. So I found a different one that's just, and this is actual lines, I think.
All right.
So this would be more poetic prose, and we
All
can
right.
discuss that and make a
Okay.
quick episode, work on your story, go to the gymnasium, work our glutes and hammies.
Yeah.
And, then get into the gym and actually do a workout. And then, all that stuff. So we'll be back momentarily. Enjoy these wonderful introductions via musical score. I always forget the name. I probably should have saved that years ago. The name of the artist and introduction music.
Maybe.
But I don't have it. I think it's called Night Driving. That's what I have it labeled as. You are listening to the Drunken Pen Writing Podcast. I'm your host, Caleb James. With me, as always, Spencer, the Shenandoah Slurpee Shyster Church. Ooh, you're a Shyston Slurpee. Shyston's not a shyster, which is what you are, is a person of ill means who seems to rip people off.
Yeah, I'll steal your Slurpee.
Is that what you're doing? Stealing Slurpees, or are you selling people overpriced Slurpees?
Ooh.
Or perhaps you're saying, here's a delicious blueberry Slurpee, and then they get it, and it's just a jug of cum. That's dyed blue.
That's a lot. Oh. I'm just passed out like here.
Not a full jug, like one of those little tea jugs.
Like, why are you
like a Turner's tea jug.
Sir, why are you so tired giving me this slushy? Don't worry about it.
It's just that's $80. $80, it's the best. I'm telling you, it's got electrolytes. Okay, so always about to cum. For the longest time, it was butt sex, and now it just seems to be every episode's about cum.
I just try.
Man cum. Sometimes animal cum.
I was just trying to steal them, like.
Yeah, I know. You know what? Just because we're here, I will give a reading update real quick. Should have did the cold open. I only have 2 chapters left of Ulysses.
Okay.
Which is maybe 100 pages. I don't know.
And how long you think that's gonna take you?
Last night I read a whole chapter in one go.
Oh yeah.
It was like a 50-page chapter. I just fucking had to get rid of it. The 150-page chapter is the one that really fucking bogged me down because it's written like a hallucinatory play, and I didn't understand what was happening most of the time, and it's a play, and I was just like, what the fuck? Listening to that one actually was a lot better because I've been listening to it after I read it. So listening to that one actually was really nice because
I thought you listened first and then read.
No, I read and then I listen.
Oh.
Or in the case of that one, I actually, because the fucking audio version was 4.5 hours.
Wow.
So once I got like halfway through the chapter, I started listening to the beginning of the chapter. But that helped because with all the different voices, I was able to, tell who was talking better. And it made it a lot better because like that one, since it was written like a play, it actually worked better as an audio format. But this last chapter was kind of boring. And now I got 2 chapters left. And once I want to finish it this weekend just to be done with the fucking thing. Maybe even today if I can. I'll just sit because it's rainy, stormy. I'm not going to do anything. I did all my cleaning and shit yesterday.
Okay.
Just so I don't have to do anything today. I'm just going to like fucking read this dumbass book.
Oh, well.
Get done with it. And then maybe I'll be happy and read something I enjoy more.
I'm gonna say I'm a little upset because I was hoping to be done with the
Well, remember, I'm gonna read that Cormac McCarthy book next.
Oh, okay.
So you'll have at least a day or 2
to
get done with Solomon Kane so we can read Confederacy at Dunton.
Well, I mean, I guess with the Solomon Kane, as long as I
take a break.
Well, I mean, as long as I finish the story that I'm on, because really, like the story that I'm on, it's like I'm in the middle of one of the 20-pager ones. Yeah. And then there's a couple of like the shorter and like fractioned ones, and there's only like one more story that's like
complete.
That's like 50 or 60 pages.
If I remember correctly, in that collection, aren't there, like you said, fragmented stories? You don't actually have to read those.
I still read.
I mean, you could read. Like I think I read them, but like it might have been. It's either that collection or another one. But there was some like the back matter, like 100-something pages or something. There was like stories that were just like ideas that never came to fruition, or a lot of it was the same story you already read, but just the original draft version that wasn't much different.
I was gonna say that's the last 2 things in there is it's like a shorter thing, and then he also has like some things that they're not poems, but they're kind of written in in a poem style. Like it ends with that with like 2 different versions. But I was just like flipping through it real quick one day when I was bored, and I was like, this looks a lot like the same. So
yeah, if I remember correctly, there's stuff you don't really have to read because you already read it.
Yeah.
It's just like an older version of it with like the language, and that's all those different Robert E. Howard collections. They just try to fluff them up, which I mean I appreciate because it makes it better, like more worth the money. But it's like these aren't all stories.
Yeah,
you know. Anyway, as I was saying on the cold open, we last week did the most profound, beautiful prose, and I found it was very lackluster. Did you find that lackluster? Most of it was just paragraphs of prose that was.
Yeah, because like we were saying, like we were almost thinking of just like a single line or maybe like a couple lines. A lot of the really good ones were like paragraphs.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's like
I ended up skipping a lot of them because they were like 10 paragraphs long.
And like you were saying, like the messaging and what they were saying on some of them were good, but not
the actual writing
of like how,
So I'm hoping this one is the opposite of that. And I think I saw a couple that we actually did cover that were just lines. So some of these might be repeated, but they're not going to be long ones. This is brought to us by BuzzFeed.
Ooh.
But the good thing about BuzzFeed is just the lines, nothing else.
True.
No explanations, no introduction, nothing. 51 of the most beautiful sentences in literature. Figured this would be more succinct. And this was published in 2014.
I'm surprised it's not like 59 of the best lines in literature, and then 60 of the worst lines in literature. You know, like how they like to do like the opposites.
Yeah, I mean, that would be funny. I actually wouldn't mind that on this kind of list, but yeah, normally that pisses me off. All right, so is this in order? It is. 1 to whatever. What's number 1? There is no number 1. It starts with number 2. Oh, number 1 is a picture. They did it in a picture format, while the rest are just sentences.
Okay.
All right, so Gloschen, Flaggen, Regen, Her, Hitler, Mein Kampf. That's number 1 best beautiful. No. For those who listened to last week's episode, no, a couple episodes ago, we did the worst authors, and Hitler was 1. He was number 1. So that'd be funny if the most beautiful line in prose, number 1 was Hitler. I'm sophomoric. Number 1 is Willa Cather's My Antonia. And it doesn't actually, again, no introduction, so it doesn't say if this is best to worst, worst to best, best of all time. It just says these are great. At any rate, that is happiness, to be dissolved into something complete and great. Yeah. That fits on a fucking pictograph. Didn't like it. Number 2. Oh, no. Is this one of those things where I don't get names? Okay.
Already at number 2?
This is Alexander Zolsenstein, One Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich. I didn't pronounce any of that right. In our village, folks say God crumbles up the old moon into stars. I actually really like that. It's just the idea of just crumpling that old moon.
I like how the name of the book was longer than the line.
I'm going to go on a limb and say that's a translated line. Number 3, J.D. Salinger, A Girl I Knew. I'm interested in reading J.D. Salinger's other work, but I fucking dislike Catcher in the Rye so much that I don't know if I can. But I heard his other stuff's great. So this is from A Girl I Knew. She wasn't doing a thing that I could see, except standing there leaning on the balcony railing, holding the universe together. That's a little extreme. She's really holding the universe together.
I mean,
what's the context of that?
Yeah, and see, all these are out of context, so it's hard to...
I'm sure that's metaphorical, but what does that mean? She's so hot that her tits are just like gravitating, like creating a gravitational force that's drawing them near. That's where I go.
Oh, well,
her tits are so grand, so voluptuous that he can't help but be drawn to it, like Saturn pulling in a moon. I don't know. It's a moon from Saturn. Titan?
Maybe.
Probably. Number 4, Sylvia Plath, The Bell Jar. I think we read this on the last episode. I took a deep breath and listened to the old brag of my heart. I am. Didn't like it then? Don't like it now. Oh, here's another picture. Ernest Hemingway, The Sun Also Rises. This is the famous ending of Ernest Hemingway's The Sun Also Rises. It's the only real line I remember from the book, and I do like the line, especially in the context. It's very simple. Isn't it pretty to think so? And it's the fact that in the original, which I already do not like this fucking list, in the pictograph, it's a question mark.
Okay.
In the original prose, I'm pretty sure it's a period, a punctuation.
Yeah.
It is not a question.
It's a statement.
Isn't it pretty to think so? It's a statement. And just the phrasing of that, isn't it pretty to think so? and it kind of sums up the book, but with the question mark, that changes the whole context of it. And there has been versions published, and maybe even the version you buy now with the question mark. It is a subject of much controversy in the literary community. I think question mark omission is the best. Period.
Yeah, I like the period. Yeah.
Do not make it a question.
I mean, I don't know what the book and story was about, but like
bunch of fucking drunks watching bullfights.
But I'm gonna say, but knowing what I know about Hemingway, I feel like it would be a period and not
direct.
A
direct statement. Number 6, Khaled Hosseini and The Mountains Echoed. From the end, The Mountains Echoed. Beauty is an enormous, unmerited gift given randomly, stupidly. I agree. But here's a little philosophical question for you, Spencer.
Okay.
Do you think the stupidity of beauty and its randomness of who is beautiful actually corresponds to said intellect and said beauty? Do you think a person is stupid because they're beautiful and that means they never actually had to learn shit because life was easier for them? Or do you think that beauty has nothing to do with intellect? And I guess like the stupidity is kind of man-made. You're beautiful, you don't have to try so hard.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of examples of both. I mean, of the, stereotypical like Miss America, whatever state or whatever, that's just like, but there are those ones that are attractive and smart.
Okay, let's dive deeper.
Okay.
Stephen Hawking was fucking hot. Let's say he's fucking hot.
Okay.
That's a question. That's not a statement. Stephen Hawking.
I know it sounded like a statement when you said it.
Stephen Hawking, same intellect, wasn't wheelchair bound, didn't have whatever disease made him the way he was. He was just a fucking smoking hot Englishman. Let's say he was a Ralph Fiennes character, or I don't know. Was Ralph Fiennes hot?
Well, I mean,
young Ewan McGregor maybe? Or
they had a guy play him in the movie, and he was a little weird looking.
Well, yeah, because he looked like Stephen Hawking. I'm saying Stephen Hawking was born a smoke show, right?
Oh, okay.
He's stud muffin, abs and everything, 6'3", fucking. He could do all the fucking he wants.
Yeah.
Because apparently Stephen Hawking was a pervert, maybe on Epstein Island, we don't know. But he was a genius. We could give him that. Stephen Hawking, born smoke show, same intellectual capacity though. Does he become Stephen Hawking, or does he do something else with his life because he was so hot? He's Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
English Brad Pitt. In his prime.
But he still has the big brain.
Yeah. And you could attribute this to Einstein. I picked Stephen Hawking because obviously, physically, the worst.
Yeah.
Physically, no doubt about it, the worst. If you said, would you want Stephen Hawking's mind but be in the wheelchair and have, be Stephen Hawking, you'd probably say no.
Yeah.
The worst.
That's fair.
So, what would you you think he would be who he was?
Probably at least not at first. Because also too, because it's gonna be different from like male to female example. Because like for the majority, like the man's just the fucking horn dog that would just you know what I mean. Like if it's gonna be easier for them, it's probably just gonna they're gonna like more likely to take the easiest road.
Yeah.
At least at first, you know what I mean. But maybe after a while, like after he got done, spreading his seed everywhere, he might have, maybe in college or something, got it back around to doing, the smarty stuff. But
all right, let's change it up then. Shirley Jackson, smoke show, not Elizabeth Moth looking, like smoke show.
Yeah,
is she writing those books? Because now we're going, she's not genius, but very good writer, maybe excellent writer, maybe genius as a writer, but she looks like, instead of Elizabeth Moss, maybe she looks like a young Kate Moss.
You know what? I think she still might, because she would still be getting treated, because you gotta take, the time factor, and like, just back then, just because you were attractive didn't always, you were still just like a housewife, you know what I mean? I think it would actually, it'd be interesting to see, like, if that changed her perspective on things,
That's
more.
what I mean. Her stories would be vastly different.
Yeah.
I think we dive way too deep into that topic from one simple sentence. Let's go on to the next one.
Number 7.
Number 7, Jonathan Safran Foer. Extremely loud and extremely close. Sometimes I could feel my bones straining under the weight of all the lives I'm not living. That was on the last episode, and I really liked that line, and I still really like that line. How often have you... Actually, I've been feeling like a major loser lately just because of life circumstances and where I am currently in my... charade of an existence.
And we've been talking about like off air, like I don't know if this week was any better for you, but the previous weeks of us being productive have not been the greatest.
No. And it's just one of those things where I often sit there and I can feel the weight of my bones and the existence just creaking and just going, I had a discussion with my dog yesterday about getting older. I did, because he's 10 now.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, when I got you, I was 28.
Yeah.
Like, we both had the whole world ahead of us. And now look at us. I mean, he's still running. He's still fresh and young, but he's older.
He was just in a puddle, a huge puddle the other day.
Yeah, he was swimming in a pond. But the thing is, we only got a finite amount of lifespan, right. And it's getting harder.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if I looked at myself at 28 and said, where are you going to be at 38? Even just writing wise, I am not anywhere close.
Well, I mean, you're probably not close in some ways, but you're probably in other ways a lot farther than,
I sure hope so.
Like 28, did you think you'd be in 10 years when you were from 28? Like when you were 28, do you think in 10 years you'd have a house?
Probably not. No, I guess life goals were better. But at 28, I probably would have thought I at least had some novels under my belt or something. I don't know. Life is hard. Anyway, number 8. This is Jane Austen, Pride and Prejudice. You're going to hate me.
Yeah.
When I was in Barnes & Noble last week.
Oh, what'd you get?
I didn't. I stopped myself. But I was, because it was one of those cool editions, like the Crime and Punishment version I got. It's Penguin Classic, the cool paper and shit. The nice, like, artistic cover. I was looking really hard at Wuthering Heights.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Wait.
And Wuthering Heights and actually more specifically Jane Eyre.
Why would I hate you for what?
Lady books.
Oh.
That's the Bronte sisters.
Okay.
I mean, you're not going to hate me, but I'm just saying, it's like, if I start reading that stuff, I might have really gone off the deep end, and you're never getting me back to genre fiction. Anyway, what was it? Jane Austen, Pride and Prejudice. What are men to rocks and mountains? What are men to cocks and socks? Huh? Yeah. I don't know. What are men to rocks and mountains?
Probably destroyers.
What it is saying, if I would have to guess out of context, is that what is a man, let's use a Donald Trump for example, since he wants to shape the world in his fucking grotesque image. Let's say a man like Donald Trump thinks he can really change everything, but what is he to a mountain? Something that's going to be around for hundreds of thousands upon millions of years, even millions of years. Fuck, I guess as long as the Earth's been around, there's probably been rocks and mountains, right? Since the lava and magma solidified. So what is a person like that compared to the eons of time? Even Alexander the Great, someone who's actually shaped the world and formed, or a Genghis Khan, or what do they call him? His real name, Chengiz. I don't know. They now he's got a fucking new weird name. But anyway, what is a man like that, a Julius Caesar, any of these people that we celebrate as the greats, whether infamous like a Hitler or a Stalin, or any of these people, what are they in the vast eternity of what is time? And that's just rocks and mountains that have been around for billions of years. What about stepping outside to the universe? Well, nothing.
Yeah.
Your existence is meaningless, and there is no point in trying to make the world such a terrible place when 100 years from now, you'll be lucky if you're remembered. But fucking 10,000 years, a million years, we might not even have an Earth, so what's the point?
Well, that's like the, you always see like the picture, it'd be like, a big picture of the galaxy or whatever, and it's just like an arrow pointing to like nothingness, and it's just like, that's you. You're right there.
Yeah.
Right.
Nothing.
Can't even see you.
That's you paying taxes. So I will say, out of context, my interpretation of that line is the desolation of the ego. I think if a man steps back and realizes, what are you to rocks and mountains? Not really much. You're not going to be around. They will. So keep that in mind whenever you get in a little, light in the loafers and think you're fucking something fancier than you are. This next one is Leo Tolstoy's Anna Karenina, or also pronounced Anna Karenina. There's a lot of pronunciations. I never really got the real one because I'm not Russian.
Yeah, well, yeah, that'd probably help.
Karenina is, I think, maybe close, and Karenina is also maybe close, but I think it's like...
Maybe I can... there's a new baker or a cake decorator at work.
Russian?
Yeah.
Ask them. Yeah, do that. Anyway, Anna Karenina, Leo Tolstoy. He stepped down, trying not to look long at her, as if she were the sun, yet he saw her, like the sun, even without looking. That last part adds it. Before I was, what is this fucking melodramatic horse hockey? But the fact that you can see this beautiful woman without even looking at her, like the sun rays shining down, maybe even feel that beauty. I like that. That's cool. I wish I could write like that. I'm mentally defunct. Number 10. Wait, who wrote this? Oh, number 10 is Betty Smith, A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. I like that title. Never heard of it. Dear God, she prayed, let me be something every minute of every hour of my life. You know what? That actually brings up a very interesting, this is apparently just a pessimistic episode. A very interesting video I watched was a YouTube short of Orson Welles.
Oh, yeah?
I was looking up noir videos because noir films. I wanted to watch a noir film, and The Third Man came up on the list. And apparently there's like not too many modern noirs. It's all set in like black and white times. But it was an Orson Welles movie, which I've been meaning to watch. But I got a clip of old Orson Welles, and the guy asked him about regrets. Oh. And he said he regrets every part of his life. He was like, because apparently just to know how genius of a person he was and what an artist he was, without like immediately answering the question, he was like, I have more regrets than there are sands in the desert.
Ooh, wow.
Grains of sand in the desert. I'm like, Jesus. And apparently his thing was like, if I never focused on film, I could have did so much more with my life. It's like, are you kidding? You're one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. Yeah. And you think that was, and he's like, it was a waste of time and money and all the things I could have done. So that just makes me feel like, damn.
What did he bring up? Like what he thought? Like he was he good at like something in school where he's like, oh, I could have been like a scientist or like da 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 or whatever. Like
I think his big thing was just like he became obsessed with films, which he said, and just that obsession with films. His personal life and just anything else. Like any artist, you sacrifice a lot if you're really trying to be the best of it. I think it was Aristotle had some kind of line like that too about I forget what it was, but something along the lines of not being able to like ever be perfect. Like I think Aristotle's line, it was Da Vinci. It was Leonardo da Vinci. He had a line. I'm gonna grossly paraphrase. Something along the lines of like, I've done so little with my life.
Oh, yeah.
You're fucking Da Vinci.
Yeah.
If you did so little with your life, what about people like us?
Yeah.
But they say the true artist always regrets because they never feel like they fulfilled their purpose because their purpose doesn't end.
I don't know who I've heard, but I'm pretty sure I've heard this, some version of this somewhere. But, it's kind of like that when you're sacrificing for your art, like when maybe with your friends and family, it's something along the lines of like, you kind of lose that being in touch with those that are close to you, but then you affect so many more. Like you almost kind of sacrifice that.
I was gonna say it's an actual sacrifice
for that to have an effect on hunt. Yeah, depending on what it is.
No, that makes me think. Would you rather ostracize your family and friends, like those closest to you, but then for the next 500 years you're even saving lives because of the art you created? That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Personally, you might suffer, but in the long run, you change the lives of so many people in hopefully a positive way.
Yeah.
So
you didn't write Mein Kampf 2.
Mein Kampf 2, Electric Boogaloo. That was 10. So number 11.
Well, not anywhere near being close to the end.
Yeah, well, I think we'll just end the episode before we end the list. Or it could be a 2-part list. I don't know. We were talking about doing extra episodes. Yeah. Maybe we'll just cut this, do a second intro, and whatever. Number 11 is Oscar Wilde, The Picture of Dorian Gray. I keep wanting to read this, and I keep almost buying different cool editions I see, but then I'm like, I could just get a free version. I don't know why it's just Oscar Wilde. I think I should just have a free PDF. Or a free Kindle version. I don't know.
Just because it's older?
I think because it's more of a short story than a novel. Or maybe it's a novella. It's not that long, so I just feel like I shouldn't have to buy a full book for $20. But it's like one of the greatest stories ever, apparently. Anyway, Oscar Wilde, The Picture of Dorian Gray. The curves of your lips rewrite history. Much like Oscar Wilde, kind of gay. He wasn't talking about a lady's lips. I guess he didn't say a lady. He said your lips.
Yeah.
So think of a man's flat, unplump, hair around lips, like mustachioed lips. Slightly crusty, and that's who he's talking about.
Most likely chapped
because this was probably in the 1800s or something. Number 12, Charles Dickens' A Tale of Two Cities. Not the line I thought. A dream, all a dream that ends in nothing and leaves the sleeper where he lay down. But I wish you to know that you inspired it. I really want to read more Dickens. I only read Great Expectations and Christmas Carol. He just read some big books.
Yeah.
But this is actually the next Dickens on my list is A Tale of Two Cities. I thought about Oliver Twist, but I think Tale of Two Cities is where I'm going.
Is his writing difficult to like?
It's Victorian, So whereas for Victorian it's easy to read, it's still pretty long and drawn out.
Okay.
I like the language, but again, it's just like that line. You're like, oh, that's a good, that's all right.
But when the whole thing's like that,
it's like the Alan Moore fucking, complex where it's just like, oh man, I like the lines individually, but once you have pages upon pages of them, they almost lose meaning because you're just fucking reading through it too fast to care. 13. This is Emily Bronte, Wuthering Heights. So maybe this will determine if I should read the Wuthering Heights. Whatever our souls are made of, his and mine are the same. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Too romantic. I don't like romance.
Well, just also like that's not too original. Like,
well, maybe when it came out.
Maybe, yeah, fair.
This is number 14. Arundhati, Arundhati, Arundhati Roy. Last name Roy.
Okay.
The god of small things. As Estha stirred the thick jam, he thought two thoughts, and the two thoughts he thought were these. I don't like it. A, anything can happen to anyone, and B, it is best to be prepared. I hate that.
Yeah,
I hate it. I actually hate that.
Yeah, that's not that was weirdly set up, and
what I really hate is he thought two thoughts, and the two thoughts
with this,
and two thoughts are capitalized for some reason, like they're proper nouns. I don't know. That is not for me, Roy. Auntie Roy. 15. This is by John Steinbeck, East of Eden, one of my all-time favorite novels. Top 5. It's in my top 5. And now that you don't have to be perfect, you can be good. Simple message. Once you stop focusing on perfection, you can just be a good person.
And what was it? Which one was that from?
East of Eden. It's a very long epic set through generations of a family. And it is not counters. What's the word I'm looking for? It is basically the story of Cain and Abel. But as told in at the time more modern.
But so even though I imagine his longer book is probably still
really fucking good.
Yeah.
And it's very again, the language, it's not hard to read.
Like I can see you getting like wrapped up in it and like reading a whole bunch more than what you thought you did.
Yeah, it's one of those ones you really fly through. William Shakespeare's Hamlet. Not my favorite Shakespeare play, believe it or not. A lot of people pick Hamlet as the best. Yeah, it's got some lines, to be or not to be. That is the question. 'Tis nobler to do something with your butt or not to do something. There are some things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. That's why I don't like Hamlet, because I don't know what the fuck that means. 19. This is interesting. Allen Ginsberg, America. Was he a novelist?
No.
Allen Ginsberg, I know, is famous for the Beatnik poems, and How was like the big poem thing. But I didn't know if he had a novel. I'm assuming these are from novels. But America by Allen Ginsberg. If you've read it and it's a novel or a novella or actual fiction of some sort, feel free to comment in the section where you can put your memorandums. I don't know. America, I've given you all and now I'm nothing. Sounds almost like a fucking knockoff Walt Whitman.
Yeah.
Walt Whitman's more optimistic. And man, reading Leaves of Grass, Walt Whitman's Ode to America, basically his giant poetry collection. It's just about democracy and everything. Oh my God, does it make me feel bad, because he really was looking forward to the future. Like, he thought America was so goddamn grand at the time. And I'm like, what the fuck? And this is like off the back of the Civil War, I think. It's like, or it's either after the Civil War or before it, or during it, maybe all of it, just the 1800s. And I'm just like, God damn it. He loves life and loves America. Also kind of gay. There's a lot of that going on then.
Right.
Number 20 is W. Somerset Monaghan, Of Human Bondage.
Oh.
It might be that to surrender to happiness was to accept defeat, but it was a defeat better than many victories. We'll end on number 21. How about that?
Okay.
Because what did I say, 51?
I think so.
No,
so
56. It says 51.
Oh, okay.
No, we'll end on 25, and then we'll pick up with the second episode next week of the same. Because why not?
Why not?
This is Wallace Stegner's All the Little Live Things.
Okay.
I like the title.
That's a weird title.
There is a sense in which we are all each other's consequences. I get the deeper implications of that. My actions can affect your actions, and your actions affect my actions, and
Well, then just even think that like in a family setting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Also, T.S. Eliot's 4 Quartlets brings us to 22. At the still point, there the dance is.
Oh, that's it?
That's it.
Oh.
What do you think that means? At the still point, there the dance is. I haven't read T.S. Eliot. I'm not going to read T.S. Eliot. I've never read a quote by T.S. Eliot that made me go, I need to read some Eliot.
Yeah. And haven't read one yet?
No. 23. Nicole Krauss, The History of Love. Once upon a time, there was a boy who loved a girl, and her laughter was a question he wanted to spend his whole life answering. It gives me a little tumescent in my pants. I feel a little growth, a little swelling.
Yeah?
Yeah. That is a good, if you're going to be a romantic writer, that's the language you should use. Question he wanted to spend his whole life answering. I like that. Why do we always have to go to the Holocaust?
What?
Why? Every fucking episode. What is going on? I'm really wondering if this is fate telling us to prepare for something in the near future. I don't like it. So number 24 is Anne Frank, The Diary of Anne Frank.
Okay.
Yeah. In spite of everything. Fucking Jesus. I just got hijacked by a fucking ad for Haagen-Dazs ice cream, which is both aimed at children and very German. God damn it. It did. It just took up the whole, I don't even know how to get out of it. Oh.
That's fucked up.
That is very fucked up. Just big words. Haagen-Dazs. Good God. This is where a video episode would be.
Google's like, don't look at this.
This does not want me to read Anne Frank. Number 24 from The Diary of Anne Frank, not Haagen-Dazs ice cream. Jesus. In spite of everything, I still... It did it again! He won't let me read it. Like salted brown butter. Smooth. Salted brown butter cookie. Butter cookie. Fuck. Maybe if I leave some of the ad in the frame, I can read this. From The Diary of Anne Frank. In spite of everything, I still believe people are really good at heart. It's very nice, Anne Frank. I'm sorry. The fucking Haagen-Dazs is in the background. It's just like trying to take over the rest of this article. Was that 25? No, one more. This is from Maurice Sendak. Fucking Haagen-Dazs again. Apparently, this rest of this article is unreadable. How do I get out of it? It's like scrolling forever.
Well, try scrolling not on the Haagen-Dazs pod.
It won't let me because it's all Haagen-Dazs. All right, I'm going to hold my finger. Maybe that'll help if I just like move it as I read. Maurice Sendak. Stop it. Can I close it? Is there an X anywhere? Very gently. Maurice Sendak, Where the Wild Things. I don't like that there's no end of that. It's just where the wild things are, were, inhabited. What's the final word? Nothing. Where the wild things. Let the wild rumpus start. It's terrible. All that for that. All right, so we'll pick up at number 26. I'm going to save this. That'll be next week's episode, I guess, for those who are interested.
It depends on what the Haagen-Dazs has to say.
It depends if Haagen-Dazs allows it. It hates Anne Frank. I know that for a fact. So, yeah, it started off pretty strong, but I felt like that definitely near the end of the 20s was lackluster.
Like when you make a list like that, it's like you're trying to do 50, like you're doing some padding. And
I'm sure they got that of early Goodreads, so.
Yeah.
I still, though, for the most part, again, more profound messaging maybe, but not the actual language. Like that's not, like some of that's poetic language, but that is still not what I was actually going for. So we may never get the poetic prose I was going for.
You're going to have to make the list.
Yeah, I can, but they'll pick like the worst quote from me. Like they'll pick one from the fucking cum story I was reading off.
No, you have to make the list of the you have to go through and pick out the lines.
No. You know what? Challenge not accepted. If you like this episode, and I don't know why you wouldn't, you can follow us at DPW Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and YouTube, and anywhere else that you can find us, I guess, and tell us about it. Spencer's OnlyFans, he is a dirty shyster of Slurpees.
I'm just stealing them.
Down in Shenandoah in the mountain range. Where do you get a Slurpee in Shenandoah? Gas station if there's one nearby?
Probably, yeah.
CalebJamesK.com. You can find my publication history. I will try to link some stuff. I still never made a post about that fucking Wicked Shadow book, did I? Did I?
I don't think you did.
I linked it, but I have not. I need to do that today. Take some pictures. I am really slacking. Again, though, that's a reprint, so I'm not like overly It doesn't really matter to me. But the Splatterpunk, that's a news story, so I actually need to make a post about that. So anyway, thank you for listening, and we'll check you out next week.